everybody, and welcome back to the first edition of the 2014 season for the Fargo Force Show. I'm your host, Trevor Peterson. Pleased to be joined on the first show of the season by head coach John Marks. And Coach, you've been doing this a long time in hockey. Fourth season back with the Force as head coach. Do you still get as excited at the start of a season as you always have?
I do. No, there's no question. I guess having been in it so long, there's a reason that you're here as long as you are in the same job is because you like what you do. And I like what I do, in that it's a chance at a job where a lot of people don't have that opportunity to have that thrill of victory or that agony of defeat sort of thing, which we go through as coaches all the time. But really looking forward to this season.
And how about, as a coach, how about just getting to impact lives of a lot of young guys? How much does that play a factor for you in coaching?
Well, you know, it actually really does, because you have a big part of their, not just their physical development on the ice as far as getting better as a player, but hopefully you're able to do a little bit as far as that mental maturity goes, and maybe trying to help them steer them in the right direction, because there's a lot of outside things going on these days, you know, with social media and all that. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things that the young men and women today have around them that can be very distracting and stuff. So we talk a lot with the other coaches, Byron Poole, Josh Hoji, myself, you know, talk to the guys a lot. And it's neat to see them develop mentally and of course, physically, to see them grow. They grow in front of you, you know, because this is the time of their life where they have growth spurts.
Absolutely. Now, before we look ahead to the upcoming season, the Force has actually already played 2 games. But before we look ahead, let's kind of put a bow on last season, Coach. It was the first season in the Force's 7-year franchise history that you hadn't made the playoffs, had the worst record in the league, but yet the attendance was still fantastic, 3rd in the league in attendance, so the attendance was still there. Tell me a little bit about, as you look back on last year, what are your kind of thoughts from last year and now moving into this year?
Well, first of all, you know, attendance was great because we have a great staff. You know, the office staff does a tremendous job. And despite our record, you know, people did come out because of the things that they do. I still believe that even though we lost a lot of hockey games, that we still provided quality entertainment because the league is so good, and there's a fine line between winning and losing. But in our case, we just couldn't score enough. You know, our skill level just wasn't quite good enough. The work ethic was there. The character of the guys was there. I mean, they came every day, despite not winning, and worked really hard. And my hat's off to them because, you know, I mean, it's a tough thing to do. You know, it's a tough thing to do. And yet they did that. And so as unrewarding a season as it was relative to losses, it was very rewarding to see these kids endure.
So knowing that you just mentioned that scoring goals was the big struggle for last year. So what did you do? How do you go about improving that this year? Is it just about a draft? Is it about trying to acquire some different guys with some different skill levels or reshape the team at all? How do you go about scoring more goals this year? How did you do that this offseason looking into this year?
Well, I mean, you hit on a lot of that, and that is the draft. And that is also, you know, scouting and recruiting some free agents. Like I said, besides Byron Poole and Josh Hoji, Brad Luch is our player personnel director. He kind of houses out of Detroit, Michigan, and sees all these kids throughout the country playing. And then over the course of the year, we'll all kind of see quite a few of them. So the draft's very important to us.
Let's talk about that. So you got 14 new guys total.
Yeah.
Who are a couple of the guys that you mentioned that maybe you're going to really look at, that Force fans will acclimate themselves with quick, they say, hey, this guy or these couple of guys are going to be really some guys to watch and will make big contributions?
Well, one, you know, Matthias Israelson, our goaltender who we got late in a trade, you know, he's a very, very mature young man, and he's an outstanding goaltender. And so he's going to carry most of that weight in that department, and I feel very good about that. Smirov, a young man we got in the expansion draft from Indiana, which won the championship, by the way. I expect him, because he's very talented, to really be a big part of our offense. And then a couple of defensemen, McCardle and Malmstrom, they played the NA last year, and so they've got a year of junior under their belt. But now you can look at Zach Yon, who played at Roseau, 80-some points in 24, 25 games. Kyle Sylvester, Warroad, you know, area guys, Region 8 guys,
Yeah.
Northern Minnesota guys. And he had 80-some points in about 24, 25 games. So these two guys are just rat hockey players. And I really believe that they're going to, it's going to take them 2 or 3 weekends, but these guys are going to settle right in and do the things that they did in high school because they're both, could skate, they got good skills. So I'm looking at those guys.
So as we mentioned at the top of the show, the Force have already played 2 games this season. You opened the season on the road, Coach, with a 2-1 win at Waterloo for the season opener. Talk about that. Just how, let's real quick, Mikey Isamont scored a goal along with Christian Cakebread. They both had 2 goals, and Matthias Israelson made it stand up, 38 saves. You win that one 2-1, even though you're outshot 39-19. How nice was it just to start out the season with a big win, especially on the road?
Well, huge, because they're picked to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league. And they've gone to the finals the year before, and like I said, they lost Indiana. But their home opener, everybody's excited, and they happen to play on the biggest sheet of ice in the league. It's an Olympic-sized sheet. And I know there's a shot differential there, but they have a team that they just shoot from all over, okay? And there's a difference between quality chances and shots on goal. And so they did have a lot of shots on goal, but things were to the outside. But they're very, very good. So to beat them in their own barn, first game of the year, was, I think, good for our confidence. But unfortunately forgot about what we did the night before.
Yeah, the next night, the next night, the Force lost 4-0 at Des Moines.
Yeah.
They got outshot 33-23. Israelson with 29 saves on 33 shots on goal there. So the Force 1-1. Coming up, the home opener here is Friday night now at Shields Arena. You guys are going to host Madison, a new team to the league this year. Tell me just about getting started with the home schedule this year. How excited you guys are for Friday in the opener?
Well, it's always nice to play at home. And especially at Shields, and because of the facility, it's an outstanding facility. It's one of the top, if not the best, I think, in the whole league. And then the support we've gotten, over the first 6 years from the Fargo people, from the fans here, again, is outstanding. So it's a great atmosphere. We've had a good week of practice here so far. We're playing an expansion team, but don't let that fool you. Don't forget, Fargo Force were an expansion team their first year and went to the finals. So there's no teams you can take lightly. But I'm looking forward to Friday night, and if we can get ourselves off on a good foot and get a win, and maybe carry it over to Saturday and do the same, then we'll have a better start than any Fargo Force team has ever had in the first 4 games of the year, I think. So looking forward to the weekend. Really looking forward to the home opener.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach, for joining us on the first edition of the Fargo Force Show for the 2014-15 season. Many more to come, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you later, everybody.